So this is going to be quite a different video than usual. It's going to be my 1K special, but it's been a thing that I've been thinking about for about a year now, and it's just kind of disappointing to watch the game that I love just go down bit by bit by bit. So yeah, it's going to be sort of like a rant. I'll be making like normal videos this week again, about 2 to 3 a week. Let's subscribe for those. I need 2.5K by the end of the year, and yeah, I really will be grinding out videos. So yeah, hopefully you enjoy the rant, and I got a new wooden skin, so I can actually use that for intros now. So let's get into the video. So I'm sure you'd all agree with me that SkyBlock is dying a lot. Like, it's at a 10th of its highest peak ever, right? We're getting about 20k players sometimes. We're getting 13k at like night times when nobody's playing. I mean, just everyone's quitting because there's nothing to do anymore. It's too repetitive and the game's not fun because games are supposed to be fun, not fully just grinding. You can make a grind fun, but you can't just make a grind a grind. So I'm seeing a lot of people like end games quitting because there's no content to do, there's no progression. Mid games quitting because it's all about making money. It's all about like this repetitive thing. There's no other money making methods apart from mining. And early game is the only thing I'm seeing that's having like some good updates, it's having some fun, but most of us are past early game. Most of us are in mid game or late game, and that's why we're not having fun. It's just that the game isn't having too much in it anymore. There's nothing that's like special, nothing like big's happening. We don't know what's happening actually, and that's like a massive issue. So there's a ton of potential in this game. Hypixel, you have bent Minecraft to its absolute maximum, but you can still bend it more. There's so much you can do. And I mean, you're probably the biggest server, you know the most about Minecraft, and it feels like you're not using that anymore. It's like, at the start, you made the magma boss, you made dragons, you made all these custom systems. That was absolutely incredible. But now, we're just getting QoL updates that just fix up small things. I mean, we've got SkyBlock nodes right now. That's where our community's at. But SkyBlock nodes is still relatively small. It's got like 100 players or so. And generally, I don't know what they're doing as of now, but it feels like they're making these small updates that we feel would have been fixed quite a while ago. And if we had like the entire community in, if we made like polls, if we made like things, if we had updates on what's happening, that would be really good, because right now these small updates aren't very important to us. There's nothing new. I mean, you can still leave a lot of things a mystery, you can still leave like surprises for us, but all of these surprises these days just aren't very exciting, and there's nothing we really care about these like surprises. Like, let's talk about the Great Spook event. We had all these like days to get these new items, new equipment, new accessories, all these other items, right? And at the end of it, when this like, Great Spook actually came, what did we get? Something where if you grind dark candy, you drop it into a hole and you get an emblem with a little bit of SkyBlock XP. As well as like a small mythic pet that is kind of bugged right now. But honestly, we got all hyped up, like this mystery event that's been happening for like a couple years now, right? And the Great Spook actually came. So what did you do with it? You kind of added like dark candy, which is like a very nice investment, but as a whole, not the most useful. Like, if you keep something a mystery, like, I mean, add a little bit of content to it, add something that we can do a little bit more instead of just grinding mobs and just getting dark candy from it. So, I mean, use the forums, because the forums are really useful. I mean, there's so many people that actually use the forums, but right now they're all quitting as well. They're quitting because, I mean, they're not playing the game anymore. The forums would be incredible if, like, you posted like, a lot of updates on it, you talked to us. There were admins that like had fun with us, they like part of the community. But right now it feels like you guys aren't really doing too much. It feels like you guys are just making updates without telling us what they are and then releasing them. And then we're not gonna have fun with them because we don't really want them. Like, no offense, but a lot of the updates right now, they're just so small and so minuscule that you can just finish them really quickly, or they're completely useless. It's like the pet update. I know like Candy Pattern Vid like went through something like a whole video like this, but the pet update was just completely useless. What are you gonna do with it? You added one new fairy soul, a new pet for the pet like training thing, and nobody uses it because it's just that bad. You have to pay money to level your pets. Well, you could just be leveling your pets yourself and using less money with it, as well as having a bit more fun. You leave your pets there for 500 years, 500 real years, to get it leveled fully. And I mean, nobody wants that because you're not getting that back. You're just not doing anything there. You're not getting anything from that. There's no content. You just leave your pet there and you wait for way too long. There's nothing you can do. Maybe it's good for early game, but the rest of the game, which most of us are in, there's nothing you're meant to do with it. It's way too expensive, even for late game players. And what are you supposed to do? There's nothing you added from that. I mean, there's a new pet score, that's it. And there just isn't too much stuff we like these days. We, as your community, there's nothing to do. Like, I'm doing Rev Slayer right now, the only reason being because I've just got this new skin and I need a bit more XP for it. I mean, that's a fun grind because you get to kill mobs, you get to do bosses, you get to do combat, and I like combat, so that's great, right? Because everyone's got their own specific little niche. And right now, as you know, the only things that have actually stood out in SkyBlock are probably Dungeons and Crimson Isles. These were like the two massive updates that we, as your community, absolutely loved because there was so much stuff to do, so many new items. It shook up the entire metas of absolutely everything. There's so many little niches in it, and it was fun. It was genuinely incredibly fun. With Dungeons, we got secrets. You had to learn routes, you had to learn guides, you watched so many more YouTube videos. And it was fun because there was new bosses, there's new stuff to do. There's so many items that you have to get because they're just that good. And they're just better than the previous ones. And right now, what are you doing? You left the Hyperion and the Terminator as the best weapons in the game. And you just made it so you can buff it a lot, but there's no actual new items. So of course, then with the Crimson Isles, that was a massively incredible update with new armor, new everything for outside of Dungeons. So if you weren't one of the people who enjoyed Dungeons as much as everyone else, you could have like another go at combat. So it was like a whole new chance for you to have fun with combat. Because as you know, this game is quite based around combat. There's a lot of things with combat in it. Every single part of the game has a little bit of combat in it. So you wanted us to have a little bit more fun with combat, no matter how much we hated Dungeons or how much we liked Dungeons. Because you made it so there was like another system outside of Dungeons if you wanted to be really, really good at the game. Like such as with Slayers and like Dragons if you still like doing Dragons. And with the Crimson Isles and Dungeons, niches were formed. There were people who liked doing world record runs, there were people who liked just doing secrets, there were people who just liked being good at the game, and for once we felt like the game was really enjoyable to do. It wasn't just fully grinding, because throughout the grind you were having actual fun. I mean, SkyBlock is meant to be all grinding, but having a fun grind makes everything it just makes all the difference. Because it's not like farming, mining, or fishing. Those all require you to do the exact same thing over and over and over again. And I'm not talking about you doing like a step, like a process or anything. You're actually just looking at stuff. That's the whole game. You're just looking at things. And if you're looking at things, why don't you just watch a video or something? Because that's the exact same as looking at things. And no offense, there's a lot of progression with all these, but they're just that boring. And I, of course, won't even mention foraging because that's not even on like... Why is it even a skill? You don't do anything with it. Just outright, all of these grinds are just you looking at things. For the only purpose of doing these is probably making money. And that's the only reason people really mine right now. Armadillo mining was really fun. I mean, we've got Implodin, who's like a small niche YouTuber, right? He talked all about mining, how to make money, how to like be good at everything. There's all these special mining methods, right? But then you killed armadillo mining, which was like his main thing. And after that, he left because mining wasn't fun anymore. And I mean, that was probably the right decision for him. Because if mining was the only thing he enjoyed, well, just killed the best thing in mining. Because armadillo mining was incredible. Then you patched bob-bombs and everything so you couldn't grief. And that was a really good patch because it meant that you would have more fun while mining. The only issue is, you already killed mining when you got rid of armadillo mining. That was the main part that people had fun with. Not like the part where you manually mine, because of course, It's not fun. What are you meant to do with that? Like, you're just moving your wrist. While with armadillo mining, you have to swap, you get more drills, you have to like... I mean, it was fun, because there was so much to do with it, you could make a lot of money. It was kind of easy to get into, and the grind wasn't too long, because it made so much money that you wouldn't have to do it for way too long. It's also the fact, like, getting into it, powder grinding, 2 mil, that was a very reasonable amount for the like time it was at, because powder grinding was absolutely painful back then, without like the chest buffs and all of that. But you added that after you destroyed armadillo mining. So what was kind of the point of that? I mean, no offense, but you know, you kind of already killed mining and you can't really revive it after that. But then something fun, I mean, is that you can upgrade everything. Like throughout the game, like a massive thing is upgrading all your items, right? And that's where the Crimson Isles was fun. The Crimson Isles wasn't just combat where you get new items and you just buy physically new items, because you could just continually upgrade your armor. With like Terror, you can get it from basic to like hot, to burning, to fiery, to infernal, and then you had attributes and more stars on top of that. That was fun. That was really fun, because there was so much to it. The Crimson Isles, you have to do so much to actually get your armor up. And since it was the best armor in the game, it felt like you had to do it, because it just is the best armor in the game, of course. And if you have to do it, then you have to get like exposed to all these new parts of the game, new SkyBlock XP, something that you could enjoy. And it made it so a lot of people realized something they might have actually enjoyed, such as fishing. Fishing before was staring at water and clicking your bobber. I mean, it's the same as lava fishing, but lava fishing, oh, you actually get excitement, you actually make money. You're getting these big like sea creatures. You got Jorbuses, you got Thunders, they're making fun money. You're getting huge amounts of XP, and it's actually nice to do, because you've got trophy fishing as well. That's a different part of fishing. There's so many niches with that. There's so many little parts that you yourself could personalize and enjoy. And just weapons. Weapons are like a massive issue in SkyBlock right now. There's nothing like you can upgrade to. With a Hyperion, maybe like maxed out, and now you've got a maxed height. It was a lot easier to get into. All you needed was money and mining. And of course, mining isn't fun, and that's why a lot of people quit, because they're not making money, because making money is like just not fun anymore. Because making money is like such a big grind, and that's why a lot of Iron Man are like having fun, while normal players are just not having fun, because you're just all about making money. If you got a Hyperion, you've maxed it out, what are you gonna do? Get another hype? Yeah, that's exactly what Future 77 is doing. He's having fun because, I mean, he's getting new items. Even though they're probably the same ones, they actually like have different things, they like do a little bit different stuff because of like all the ult enchants. And ult enchants are in fact pretty cool, because of course in normal Minecraft you don't have these. And in SkyBlock they're just basically like abilities, really. It's just like having abilities, but in Minecraft. It's fun. But then after a while, the same abilities, same things, it just feels normal after a bit. I mean, like with Terra, you upgrade it, you get more damage, that's what it's meant to do. But with weapons, like add more abilities, add something that's tiered up, add something that makes like its ability better as you go on. Maybe like it encompasses the entire game. It's like one like Terra Blade from like Terraria or something, because if you think about it, it like puts everything in the game together. So it makes the game fun, because you've got like a general goal to go towards. A Hyperion right now, I mean, that's your general goal. That's the general goal. And how do you get it? You grind F7 for way too long. F7's meant to be fun, right? But if you're grinding it for way too long, without the right gear, right? Because it feels like you need a Hyperion to grind dungeons, but you grind dungeons for a Hyperion. And it's just not as nice, because you have to grind it for so long, that's not fun anymore. It's like eating your favorite food. If you eat the same thing over and over and over again, it's not nice. Do you actually like it anymore? No, of course you don't, because it's the same thing. It's not new. Like, I mean, we want something new. And then with skills, add different ways to get skill XP. I mean, combat is really good because you got bestiary, you got mobs, you got like all of these like special things. And generally you get it passively as you're doing your game, so you don't have to think about actively grinding it. Unless, of course, you're at the start of the game, but that's the point that makes it fun. But then we've got farming. What did they think? What did you think when you were making farming? I mean, you removed it, so you removed like private islands, so like farming would be more fun in the garden, and kind of the only issue with the garden is that maybe building a farm is fun. If you like building in Minecraft, well, that's great because the garden's for you. But then after you've built it, you have to farm it. And what do you do when you're farming it? Yeah, really enjoyable. And I mean, you don't even need to try to do that. It's not even mining. There's no niches. You get pimento, you get a wheat hoe, and you go farm wheat for 500 hours. And then there you go, you've got farming 60. Now you've also got to finish up all the other collections, so go farm for 500 hours for all the other ones. I mean, what are you meant to do? You just hold left click and look at something. It's literally worse than everything else in the game. I mean, I saw visitors, right? At the start, when visitors were added, it was like commissions. And I saw that they gave like a good amount of farming XP. But then, as you went up and up in farming levels, the XP just, it was like nothing. There's no point to do them. Maybe you're making a little bit of money from like overgrown grass and stuff, but visitors, there's no point in doing them after a bit. You get your spaceman, and you get like a cosmetic item. Okay, now what? What are you meant to do when farming? There's nothing you can progress with. There's no niches. There's nothing that people actually like. I mean, if you like farming, what you're probably saying is, I like watching Hypixel SkyBlock videos. And that's basically it. The game is fun because there's all these small parts that you can get into. For all these different players, like every person is different, so you'll enjoy different things. So of course, having more niches makes it better. Kudra and dungeons, they've got so many niches. Everything else, they've got like 1 or 2. They're just a full grind. There's nothing to do. With Kudra and dungeons, you've got phases, secrets, items, item upgrades, everything new, like activating lifeline. There's so much to a single fight that it's no longer a grind, even though it is a full grind. Like, just as long as it's not completely repetitive, if it's gonna take a while, just tell us. Because we don't like waiting, or like we don't like having full suspense. Like if you're making a massive update, like the Rift, tell us when it's gonna actually come out. Like, or if you can't get a date for it, tell us how you're going with it, or if you've paused with it, or like you've done something else. Because we want to know, we don't want to think like this update's taken way too long, so it's got to be really good. And then all you've been doing is like thinking about how to make other updates, and we've just been thinking about the Rift for an incredibly long time. And then in the end, you've spent a lot more of your time on like making other updates instead of the Rift, and then we're all angry at you because like the Rift was way too fast to finish, and it wasn't as fun as we expected due to all the time it took to have it released. And I mean, if you just talked to us, everything would have been a lot nicer, because you've got the forums, you've got everything you need to actually talk to us. And it's actually nice to use. Like the forums, I've been on them quite a lot. And it's fun to read people talking. It's fun to see stuff. What was it called? The Jive Armor and like design threads. They were so nice. I absolutely waited for each one to come out. And they were so worth it to read because there's so much hype to each of them. But slowly, bit by bit, all the things got released, and the hype kind of died down because, I mean, you didn't really tell us exactly what was in them, and it felt kind of underwhelming if an update was slightly less than it should be, and it kind of could have been a little bit more like, you could have avoided it a little bit if you talked to us a little bit more, because, I mean, we're your community. We kind of know why we, like, how we have fun, and it's kind of like, we play the game, so, I mean, if it's not fun for us, we're not really gonna play it. I mean, I'm not criticizing you because you are literally probably the best game devs I've probably seen in a long time, but you're all like going down a little bit by bit, no offense, because I don't know, it's probably because like lack of motivation, there's like less people playing, making less money, everyone's quitting, and it feels like Hypixel's dying. So as a whole, I mean, I could see why you're not trying as hard, or like having more breaks, and just making fire sales isn't like a great use of time. I mean, you could have like a specific person who makes fire sales, like hire a graphic designer or something. They make specifically fire sales, so nobody else has to work on them, and it's just like another thing out of your mind. You can make some good profit from that. It's like your passive income. But we still want parts of the game to come out. We don't just want new fire sales every week. Like fire sales, they were nice a while ago. They got released every month, and that's what made them expensive. That's what made them like actually alright. Now they're like every couple of weeks, like every week actually. you're making a lot more money. But I mean, the fire sales, they've kind of lost their, like, they're not as nice anymore. I mean, the good ones, like the Warden helmet one, that one was really nice. I love this one. It's like incredible because you've actually got like a little bit of progression in it. Like there's something you can do with it. And the funny thing is, it's just like a skin, but you've got stuff to do with it, and that's nice. But can't you just like implement that into different parts of the game as well? Like the time you spend into making it so you've got like different like requirements to get each color of the skin. I mean, couldn't you like put that into like something else, like maybe like having different colors of like other armor? That'd be kind of cool, right? Because then we'd have something else that everyone else could get into, not just like a skin that seems like it's fully cosmetic. And yeah, just as a whole, that's kind of the whole video, but just talk to us more. And if you, as the audience, are watching this, this is my call to Hypixel to make them hear us. So Hypixel, hear us. And you as the audience, you should go and make your own videos. If you've seen HearUsNiantic or anything, or if you like possibly play Pokemon Go, we'd HearUsNiantic, which was them making bad changes to the game, and we wanted them to hear us. So we as a community, as Niantics, like players, we made our own thing that we wanted to happen in the game, because we're the players, so we should probably have like a bit of a say in the actual game. Like, yeah, go make your own videos on #HearUsHypixel, because I mean, hopefully, if we all like bind together as Hypixel's players, as SkyBlock players, as gamers, we might have a chance at reviving Hypixel. And this has been my plan for around a year now, but since I've reached 1k, thank you so much for all the subs. Maybe it's time we start like a revolution. We start something new. So yeah, that's kind of a small rant, but yeah, just gonna make a video on it because I kind of want to see Hypixel back out where they should be, back out where their rightful place is, the #1 server in Minecraft. And as you can see, Hoplite is somehow rising up because it's something new. It's like PvP, maybe like add the Colosseum back, but make it so there's like handicaps or something. You only fight like people of your level. And honestly, yeah, the game's alright now. It's like not pay to win too much. If you want to actually pay, it's like a huge amount. But honestly, nobody's actually gonna do that because it's more fun to actually play through the game. As you found if you're actually playing the game, unlike Rage Train, it's a series of course. But the game's fun, it's pretty good. You don't have to spend money on it. It's just that updates, we don't know what's happening. So admins, talk to us. And I guess I'll see you in the next video.